Greetings, listeners. I am your host this evening, Zach Barrett, and welcome to this Twisted Gear Studios production. You are about to listen to The Call, our Call of Cthulhu actual playcast GM'd by Derek Snow. Our previous report from our investigators. The investigators recuperate after escaping the house with the rescue, Father O'Malley. Now, the investigators work with Father O'Malley to awaken Simon and ask some questions.
So, how would everybody like to react to Simon's sudden sitting up? He's sort of hyperventilating. Definitely more swear words coming out soon.
I think where we left off, where we all kind of stepped back and went, "Ah!" was pretty apt.
Yeah, I'm probably panicking a little bit.
Yeah.
After the initial step back, I run up to him and just start. Like I look around for like a cloth or something, but I'm kind of panicking, so I'm not really doing anything helpful.
It's alive!
Yeah, so basically in the lab, in the mansion on the hill, there's a lot of different cloths and stuff around down here for sure.
Yeah.
So you do manage to grab one, and then immediately you realize, oh, this one was used. There's like blood on it and stuff. Who knows how long that's been there?
And I run back to Simon's beside. Like, oh.
Yeah, and he's just still sort of sitting up, and his like eyes are a bit vacant, and he's just sort of rocking back and forth a little bit.
I'm gonna go and grab him a glass of water/whiskey.
Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to offer him 2 glasses, one with water and one with whiskey.
You get the
You
water.
must really
I'll get
hate the guy
whiskey.
because the way Agatha said it, I thought for sure it's like, yeah, let's give the guy watered down whiskey.
That's his theme.
Oh no, we're getting him like 100 proof.
No, give him water first. He's probably dehydrated.
I'm thinking after that wake up call, I'm thinking he
I'd
needs
take whiskey.
some. Yeah.
So at this point, Simon sort of looks over at the rest of you, sort of discussing the whiskey water situation.
Someone get him a glass of water, quick! Oh, Simon, no, you should sit back down. You've been. What happened? Are you dizzy? Are you hurt?
So he sort of just slides over. So he's sort of sitting now with his legs dangling over the hospital bed, if you will, the stretcher, the slab.
It's a slab.
The slab.
It's a slab.
Once again, you also really take in, he is really pale. I mean, I've said this before, but now, like, he's really pale. You can see the veins fully. He's almost like alabaster. It seems more so than when he was unconscious.
Is there a blanket around?
Well, he's lying on a blanket, and there was a blanket up over him. Well, not all. They took it down in order to do that.
I'm gonna go up and adjust that the blanket be around his shoulders because I'm just mistaking it that now he's in shock. He's probably cold. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so Agatha, as you grab the blanket, and he's not really reacting to you. You know what I mean? Like, as you're getting close, and you're putting it up over his shoulders, your hand just brushes his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he is cold. Now, he was cold before. Remember I mentioned that he's just cold to the touch? He's more cold now. Like, you can feel.
After waking up?
Althea?
Yes, this is the thing. After he woke up, he turned even
it's
more
like he's
white.
almost in hypothermia.
Right?
Like, you need to come and
hey.
check him.
Yeah.
I was nearly hypothermic when I was living.
The other thing is, Agatha, I need you to roll me a willpower.
Oh, what?
As you accidentally touch his shoulder.
3%.
Yeah. So you once you feel it, you resist the urge to immediately. For some reason, you get this strong feeling, this primal fear kicks in, of flight or fight, and you want to like run away from him. As you just nudge him, you just get that, you know what I mean? The adrenaline kicks in,
Right.
Like soon as you touch him, like you don't want to be there, but then you resist that urge, and you don't know where it came from. But you're still a bit hyped up. Because the adrenaline kicked in, fight or flight. So, yeah, you're not sure why. Although, I would like everyone else to roll a spot hidden.
Oh dear.
Ooh, 38 out of 59.
78 out of 43. I'm very distracted.
15 out of 51 for Althea.
Isn't it interesting of how we've been playing this for quite a while now, and how high everyone's spot hidden has gotten?
No.
How
I
mysterious.
love it.
Does this
Anyone
mean we
who's-
all put ticks in the spot hidden?
everyone who
You
succeeded
monster.
puts a tick.
Seems
in
to
spot hidden.
go up proportionately with how our sanity drops.
Yeah, it's a weird connection in this
I don't
game.
think it's weird. I think it's pretty specific.
I'm just curious what everybody's spot
Yeah.
hidden is.
Amos and Althea made the spot hidden check, and Marion failed it.
Oh, okay.
So Amos and Althea, you notice, it seems a bit strange, but you can see sort of Agatha slightly recoil, but sort of get a hold of herself. But you swear you see something move under her skin on the back of her neck. It looks like the back of her neck, it gets like a small lump, like, you know what I mean? Like something moved under there. But as quick as you saw it, it's gone.
Am I standing right next to Althea?
Well, yeah, you're all in the same,
Kinda
because you
like-
were all talking about whiskey.
Like, passively, like, tap her on the shoulder while staring? You,
Yep. Yep.
So I'm not seeing that? I'm not making that up?
Nope. Nope.
Father, does he need something? Does he? Should we get him a cup of tea or a glass of water? Simon, Simon, are you okay?
Okay. So, Simon, and I'm just gonna, like, walk up in front of him, say, considering that science has completely failed me where you have been concerned thus far, would you like to tell me what it is you need right now?
Want to smoke? Are you one of those? I'm having a smoke.
So, to answer Marion, Father O'Malley, as you look over, he seems to be sitting in a chair, and he seems to be completely exhausted. He's not asleep or anything. Like, he's not unconscious. But it seems that this ritual, or whatever he did, kicked him into,
The nuts, yeah.
yeah, kicked him into nuts.
Is Cadbury in the room?
He is now.
I'm gonna turn to him and say, Cadbury, I know it may be unusual, but could you bring down some refreshments? I gesture at Father O'Malley and then at Simon. I think they might
big bottle of
need
whiskey.
something to help them recover.
Whiskey.
Orange juice.
With whiskey.
Well, if you could find any in the house after Skeet got to like it.
He didn't touch the whiskey.
Cadbury just nods his head and is like, yeah, I'll go take care of that right away. And
Thank
he
you.
just heads on upstairs. And now to get back to Althea talking to Simon. Simon just sort of looks up and he, you notice that his eyes are like fully dilated. So it's a bit weird looking at him
Jeez.
because y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he's sort of just looking at you.
The hell was in that sugar?
And he's like, I don't think I need anything. I just need a minute. I feel weak. Why would I feel weak? And then he
You've been
sort of-
sleep for about a couple weeks.
But he sort of just looks over at you after he says that.
Oh God!
He's like, oh, that's why.
The hell did I do? Besides, all right.
Yeah, he's well, you said for how long? It's been a while, a few weeks, you said?
About 2 weeks, I think. Close to.
However long, an indeterminate amount of time. La, 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 la. He's like, oh. So, fill me in?
All right.
Well,
With what first? The conjectured bits or the
I think the most important is there was a break-in at the center.
Oh, yes.
That's mildly putting it.
Oh, Those damn scarabs.
I'm sorry. Then what now?
So, how about I say what I recall, and then you sort of fill in the blanks for me for the rest.
Well, that's a good idea.
A-
So yeah,
afterward.
why don't you tell us everything up until you passed out?
So, me and Alistair, were in the office,
Yep.
and
Take a
all
little notebook and
yeah,
search out.
well, and all of a sudden, it just got really dark. It's like all the lights went out, but it was more than that. It was like, you know what I mean when you're faced with the unimaginable void, that darkness that you guys haven't experienced that yet. Okay, so it's
okay.
usually it's a telltale sign that something really bad's gonna happen, and I mean it happens because of some of the artifacts that we sort of imprison. Yeah, imprison's the wrong word. It's a museum, right? It's not a prison at all. So, but they give off energy. Maybe this isn't the best scientific. Well, your science, not my science.
My science has changed a little bit over the past little while.
Oh, I would imagine you wouldn't be your grandfather's granddaughter if that weren't the case.
Lot done back here.
So, and we were attacked by some scarabs.
Is this the name of a faction?
Yeah. He just seems even though he's talking, he does still seem a little bit
Yeah.
hazy. Just the way he's sort of jumping around topics. He's like, I don't know how you put it. Assassins. They're like
makes sense.
they're like a secret
Cult?
story. Yeah, they're not really a cult. Well, they would be if they were alive.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
Oh,
Well, I mean, a couple of them were dead when we got there. Is that what you're talking about?
They're summoned. How do I put this? Where
So
I don't
who
drive
would've-
you insane?
Like zombies?
Who would have
No.
brought them to you? No, I mean, there was a couple that were dead when we got there. You're talking about you dropped a couple before.
No, there was cultists with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we managed to fight some of them off, and then the assassins came, and as I was severely injured, and he sort of puts it in this region.
Yeah, right in that region, and point right at exactly where the wound was.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. But as I was fading out, they took Alistair kicking and screaming
Oh shit!
out. The cultists did.
So you saw them take Alistair,
Yeah, they definitely have.
but he was kicking and screaming up until
He was
you
kicking
last
and
saw him?
screaming, but I faded out, and I mean, it's probably it's a good thing that they fled.
Why?
Oh, I don't know how. So, yeah, and he is actually talking like this, like these pauses, and he's jumping all over the place and stuff like that. So, okay. So, I'm assuming, with the taste in my mouth, that I'm a sin eater.
Well, that's what the good old dear father over there was saying. Something like that. Yeah. Not sure what that is. I'm assuming that when he fed you with
Okay.
sugar. So
Well, it's more of a symbolic thing, as is most rituals. Or the issue being that, okay, so I take in the darkness of the world. I am a prison to hold the dark, evil things at bay. So if I die, there's nothing holding them in anymore.
now either you really think really highly of yourself, or this is a metaphor for something.
No, I think really highly of myself.
Ah, all right. Well,
Yeah,
that's fair.
no, and I can tell now that you are also now a prison.
I'm sorry, what?
You have a portion of the evil that I've contained in you, the darkness.
I'd like it to be known for the record that everyone in this room heard the priest say the complete opposite about me about 5 minutes ago, actually. So
No!
Well, no, he said that
that I was
what
a nice guy.
Simon was, part of it was passed to you.
You said you were going to share the burden.
Yeah, I didn't quite know what that meant.
Wow, it's like you ran into something without thinking of it,
I
you do
tend to
with
think
everything
quite.
else.
Hey, I take offense to that. I tend to think things out rather clearly. Just when people are talking about rituals and religion, I'm a little bit off on that sort of stuff. I'm
Simon.
sorry. I'm trying to cope with a rational understanding.
It
of
just
things.
means you need to be careful.
Okay,
You
like
know.
around rotting meat.
What?
What?
Oh,
He's like rotting meat.
let's not talk about that.
I had a bad time with some meat. It's,
Ugh.
Yeah, fair enough. I really don't know what to tell you, man. He just seems very nonchalant. He's like, it's just that I can help you find a way, but basically, you need to control this darkness and not let it control you. Because there lies
right with that.
damnation. Yeah.
damnation.
I mean, it should be easier now because it's sort of shared. But because I have been doing this for so long, you're not really starting from scratch and learning. You're sort of just thrown into the deep end.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. It's
Yeah.
pretty
At the very
accurate.
least, you'll be harder to kill.
I'm
That's
sorry,
always, well, you'll be harder to kill. Right?
I mean, that can't be a bad thing. Right?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah. There you go. That's the way to look at it, chap.
As we might be off topic, Simon. Who were these cultists that attacked you and kidnapped Alistair?
Well, over the years, me and Alistair have had dealings or run-ins, if you will, with a variety of different cults too. You know, some mostly crazy people, mostly people who are just leaders of these cults were just using the cultists to their own ends. There was no dark power behind it. They were just manipulative.
Stuff, yeah.
They were just very, and that's usually what we ran into. And every now and then we ran across something that might have been a little more. And there's usually something, an artifact that we, once it was taken care of, we took to keep safe. Yeah. So,
Well, not to be the bearer of bad news while we're in the middle of talking about this, but there's not a lot of those items that are left. In the
yeah, they
center.
probably took them.
Yeah.
We need to find them.
There was two that was left. There was I recall seeing a horn in a book. No, the horn case was empty. There was a book.
A yellow one. He just looks directly at Althea. Oh, I'm assuming you got that then, because I know it wants you.
What does he mean it wants her?
Oh, so the power of words. You ever been in a library and it just feels different? Words have power, the weight of words.
Like knowledge?
No, not necessarily knowledge. I
Really
mean,
say that?
physically, the words themselves have power.
Wait,
You
hang
ever
on a
feel
second. Is that
weird?
what you were going on
That's why
about in the
cats
back
like
alley?
libraries so much, and bookstores.
You were going on about
One foot in the grave and all.
that we were behind the New England Center of Antiquities. You were going on about something with the book and your purse and the car. You're losing your goddamn mind.
Is it under control at least? You haven't started casting the play yet, have you? Because, I mean, I don't have time for that right now.
I'm sorry, what?
Play?
Oh.
No,
Althea, have you been reading one of the artifacts from the center?
No, I haven't. No.
Starting to sound
I
like
don't-
you are.
I don't think so.
He reaches out and he puts his hand on your arm. And you can feel it cold through your clothes. And he just looks at you and he's like, it's okay. I mean, maybe it could save your grandfather. I don't know. It's not something. So your grandfather was enthralled. Like I said before, these type of artifacts and cults, they maybe it's not that the artifact itself has power. It's the fact that they believe it has power, and in some ways that does give it power. But that's not the case with this. This is just, God, I can't put it in a way that's
subscribe to that first.
Yeah, this is just so it's tied to a specific group of cultists. Your grandfather found it, and it's sort of he got enthralled by it. The play is a ritual, so the play itself isn't a ritual where you do some speeches and you can make stuff fly and stuff, or like heal wounds or stuff like that. Although that's really rare. Normally it works the other way. So the play is a ritual. So if you cast and you put on the play, the cast members, the actors of the play, are actually speaking the ritual. And at the culmination of the play, something happens. We're not entirely sure what happens. All we know is that your grandfather sacrificed himself to stop it from happening.
Okay.
In the last moments, he found a shred of sanity. A shred, mind you, is quite insane.
It's under control.
Okay, that's good. Moving on. he just sort of like it's nothing.
Right, moving on. Back to Alistair. If he's been kidnapped, we need to find him. What do you know about?
I can do that.
You're not doing it in your condition alone.
I'm sorry. You just.
I
do that?
can. Me and Alistair have a connection. I can usually track him down pretty easily.
Well, that's convenient. Makes our jobs a lot easier.
Well, we're, blood brothers. Oh god, that sounds stupid. We didn't share blood. That's disgusting. No, ugh.
Does Alistair have the same condition as you?
Oh god, no. No. He's too cool for all that. Him and his, flipped collars and his cigarettes. God.
Yeah, that is dumb.
As he
isn't it?
says that, I just kind of stop mid-cigarette.
Yeah. No. He's just a good guy. He's just a good guy who's, willing to do what it takes. And he has this natural resistance to being corrupted, which is really nice. That's not really magical. It's just that some people, they just have a strong sense of will. And he's just really, he's a stone. He's immovable.
Do you know?
Like you.
I'm sorry?
Immovable.
Oh.
Do you know why they would have kidnapped him and not you?
Oh, I'm sure they would have rather just lay me low. They probably want Alistair for some... Oh, they probably want him for some...
If he's
Alistair's
able to
the
resist,
face.
I was going to say, if he's able to resist certain things, does that mean they might want him to use something that...
Well, no, it's not that he has, he's just... He's a good guy with a strong sense of will. Mm-hmm. He's honorable. He's a scoundrel. Let me clear, but he's...
They
Sounds
want
like my
to.
kind of guy.
They want to strike a blow against the center, and he's
the face.
Yeah,
he's the figurehead.
He's the one that people will associate with the New England Center of Antiquities.
All right, I've got a
Exactly,
series
Marion.
of questions then.
Nice
I need
to see
ask.
you, by the way, Marion.
You as well, up and about.
Wow.
Free in a manner of speaking.
Yes.
So we should probably be getting him back.
I was going to say, there's a couple questions I have to ask. So first and foremost, probably the most prevalent to our job at hand. If you are under the impression that he's being taken to represent the center on behalf of these...
Yeah, it's hard to guess work. It all depends on...
kind of assets does the facility have that those New England Center of Antiquities have that aren't on site that would would allow them access if they had Alistair, and would be worth attacking you and him to do? A safety deposit box somewhere, bank account.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, this it usually isn't about the money with these people because it's usually
Most
you know what it
deposit
is.
boxes might just have other things.
Yeah, but the people involved in this type of stuff, when it comes to like financial gain, the people who are involved in this type of stuff are always those. Oh, and he says it with like disgust. Those rich, lazy people. They just got so much money and they're just bored and they're just greedy. They're just full of greed and they just want more and more.
As he's talking, I'm like, put my finger up. I'm like,
He just looks over you and he's just like, yeah, I mean, you got it under control.
wow.
I mean,
All right.
No, you know what I mean. I don't mean everyone rich. I just mean the people in charge of these cults are usually like well-to-do.
Oh, in charge of the cults. Oh,
Yeah,
see,
the
I
people
thought-
in charge
I
of the
was talking
cults
about
and
someone
stuff. Well, what would they want him? I mean, it'd be really hard to get knowledge out of him. Oh, I suppose they could just. I'm not sure why they want him, but it seems to me that it might be something maybe personal more than anything else.
else. Huh.
But I mean, we've crossed so many people over the decades that I don't know.
Well, you mentioned that you recognize them as being these scarabs.
Yeah, but
kind of thing.
that's. I don't want to. It's. They aren't scarabs. The assassins were. They're like summoned.
Would
Well, no,
Aloysius
I
have?
get that, but who the cult that summoned
I don't
them?
know. I don't know which cult it is.
Would Aloysius have had any dealings with scarabs in the past?
Aloysius?
You mean Alistair?
Goodyear?
No. Yes.
I mean,
Might be
potentially. I
something
mean,
to
that
look
guy
into
was
his-
involved in everything.
Might be worth looking into his library later and see if we can find anything else on these.
I mean, yeah, he was involved
Something
in
to put on the
everything.
back burner.
Right.
And
He's helped us out more than once. Well,
I've got a question.
You do realize it's been a long time since your grandfather's been. By this timeline, the way he's talking, Simon would have been a child.
Oh, I'm assuming he's referring to his predecessor. Obviously.
Obviously. Obviously.
All right, I got to ask you two questions just about some of the weird things that have been going on involving this whole situation with you, maybe me. I'm not entirely sure. So, question number one. We found you, you had snuck yourself into a secret doorway in the basement of the New England Center of Antiquities.
Oh, probably.
And,
that's hard to remember because it was such a... I'm
No,
not used
that
to
makes-
actually being hurt by something. That was, I mean, craziness.
You're working an office job, you're not usually getting stabbed by spears. It's fair. So,
Especially
we
that
went
spear.
down and... What was wrong with that spear?
Anyway, continue.
Okay. So down where we found you, there was a bunch of wooden boxes.
Oh, yeah.
What was in the boxes?
Stuff. I mean, it's
you
just...
don't
it's-
happen to have.
It's just just New England Center of
you-
Antiquities.
Are you vain
business.
enough to have porcelain doll replicas of yourself?
Oh, you never know when you need a porcelain doll replica of yourself. I mean, you haven't lived till you've had one of those, or 7, or 10. No, I mean, that gets into a line of stuff that's probably not really... I mean, so, they're good like doubles.
Like dummies?
Like when I need to be in 2 places at once, you know?
Wait.
You know what I mean? Like, they're good for that type of thing.
So you can actually put your consciousness in one of these? And
Obviously,
no.
obviously he's
No.
referring to...
No.
H.G. Wells shit? What's going on?
No, that's crazy. I wouldn't be able to put my conscience in it. I just animate them.
I'm sorry, what?
I just, animate them. Geez, I
Draw them?
Don't you mean like have it if you needed to fake your own death or something?
Yeah, we've used it for that for sure.
So
I've had to fake my
it's
death
just
many times.
so it's
Huh.
like golems.
just a mummy, like a dummy.
He just sort of looks at Agatha when she says Gollums. He's like, well, no, because that would be wrong. He just sort of looks at you. He's like, no, they're just... Okay, so clearly, from some of the reactions and stuff, you've seen some stuff.
Yeah.
Am I right? Stuff that you can't explain.
Yep.
Yeah, you've
Which
seen
my
some
next
stuff.
question.
Now, my thing is that it's all explainable. And he's looking at Marion. It's
course.
all explainable.
Of course it is.
It's just that you don't have the science yet to explain it. That's all unexplainable things are. Everything looks like magic till you look at the science behind it.
I mean, goddamn, why does that make so much sense?
So
Fine.
what these are, they've been crafted with science that you don't yet understand to be replicas of me. Alistair never ever wanted any, so he doesn't have any. He just felt it was distasteful. But
Right.
depending sometimes when it got too much, they could also be like, like a flask of whiskey or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you put something in it, so you don't need to carry it anymore.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly,
It's a fancy jar.
Okay. So all your fancy jars are gone. They're not there anymore. But I'm not sure if that's got to do with Mr. Black having gotten there.
Oh,
earlier
Mr.
or
Black's
not.
alive.
Is there a reason why he wouldn't be?
Oh, I don't know. I was stabbed.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, no.
No,
He understands exactly what needs to be done.
All right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He came to the center when we went back to investigate after bringing you out.
Yeah, he's the fixer.
Maybe that adds more questions to the end of my list. But I have one more question about the immediacy of having rescued you.
Yes.
When we investigated Swill's Gullet on behalf of the New England Center.
Yes, interesting.
Originally hired.
Interesting. It was an interesting case report. Thanks, Marion.
You're welcome.
I came back with an amber stone stuck in my hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Was doing some weird, wacky stuff. You've now got yourself a birthmark. On your back.
Oh.
Exactly
It looks
where
weird
I-
because he seems like he's really better, but he does literally try to turn his head to look down his back, and he can't. And he's just like,
It's been that weird. If I ever process these photos, I'll show it to you. When I touched you to carry you out of the basement through the ramp, the stone left my hand and it left that imprint on your back.
so there's an imprint of the stone that was in your hand on my back from the Swill's Gullet thing.
It's less of an imprint and more like the birthstone is in the shape of the rock that was once embedded in my hand, which is no longer in my hand, but there's now just a black mark on your back in the shape of the stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Science.
That's your answer?
I mean, it all depends. There's just so many different types of things. Like, from a guess, I would say it's some kind of Sankara stone or something.
That word rings a bell. Little imaginary rat.
They're
told us the word
usually... Oh, a rat. Oh, so they're usually like... Oh, God. It's just a pile of information you really... It's
Like a
just...
familiar?
Keep saying he's imaginary.
Yeah, no, it's
Do you see the rat right now? Where is he right now?
I don't know. Off
He's an
somewhere.
imaginary rat that shows up when you least expect it.
He doesn't
doesn't
have
show
to
up?
hang out all the time and keep me company.
He's
Oh, so
not
he's...
there, huh?
Oh,
He's not
he...
there,
So he's the... You started seeing something after the stone. You did. And he's pointing at Althea. You, Althea.
He's
Ha.
always been with me.
Oh, he's probably drawn to the, the tragedy and stuff.
He hasn't.
The what?
Oh,
Right, so Marion
know-
is admitting she's never seen it, so imaginary.
No, but-
imaginary rat.
There's never been a rat.
That's what
yeah.
imaginary
Well,
is.
it's mainly.
Is it a familiar that she can only see?
Oh, I don't know. It could be all in her mind. There's been no definitive proof either way.
I've heard the words coming out of the rat's mouth. Again,
Yeah,
Not
sure
saying it
delusions
makes
are
sense.
delusions are quite common.
Yeah.
But the issue is
Okay.
no, it's not. I just mean that I'm not saying that it isn't real. I'm just saying that I don't have the science yet to prove it is.
fair
So
enough.
it's easier just to figure if it's led you astray or it's trying to kill you. Then I don't know if it's trying to
it's
help
only
you.
had
Maybe it's
good
your
advice.
subconscious telling you the best course of action to take.
That does make
While
sense.
trying to
That does
process
actually
this
make sense.
information, Agatha is going to pour herself a really tall glass of whiskey and start
Done.
drinking it through this thing.
At this
What's it
point,
do?
Cadbury comes down and he has apple juice and some other juices, but there's no orange juices, and he
Oh,
looks
that
a
makes
little
sense.
bit disgusted. Just that butlery, he's like, sorry. He looks over at Althea. Sorry, ma'am. Can't find any orange juice anywhere. It's probably Skeet.
all of it.
Probably ski.
He's been a demon for the stuff. It's just been a demon for it.
Maybe not the right choice of words.
Wow.
Probably not.
After-
Yeah, and Simon's like, yeah, that would be much worse.
Anyway, yeah. I'm pouring myself a glass of whiskey. You wanted one, so I'm gonna get Amos a glass of whiskey, and I'm just gonna like swig one back and then pour myself another one because
Simon.
I'm trying to process this information.
Maybe we can offer one to Father O'Malley as well.
Oh,
At this point, you notice that Father O'Malley has drifted off to sleep.
That
He's
makes
slightly snoring.
I
Saves me
don't-
from
I don't
having to
wanna
do the
disturb the
accent
man.
for a minute.
Well,
I put a blanket over him.
Yes.
yeah. And considering he's been in a time loop for how long, he deserves some sleep.
He
A long,
does.
long time blowing his brains out, yeah.
Yeah.
That would do it to a person. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, the Sankara stone, I mean, in Swill's Gullet, though, I believe it was found in the mine?
In the mine below.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, because those are,
Those, as in multiple?
well, they're Sankara stones.
Yeah, I'm
They're not unified. They're just, well, they're holy stones from Egypt.
Then how would it?
Scarabs. Okay.
The symbols on the box. They looked Egyptian, almost hieroglyphic.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yes,
shit.
That's right.
Yeah, like a
I
whole
remember.
holy men. Yeah. The different
So
religions over
somebody
the thousands of years. I mean,
Came to Swill's Gullet from Egypt and brought a weird rock with them that did some stuff.
you,
It's
you
not
don't know
un-
how many. If you replace the name Swill's Gullet with any other town and replace Egypt with any other country, you have no idea how many times that sentence has been uttered.
I take
I was
back
going
what
to
I
say
said.
it's not uncommon that artifacts go everywhere. I mean, for heaven's sakes, not that long ago they used to have mummy and wrapping parties.
No, hang on a
Yeah,
second.
they did. Creepy.
No. What's
Amos hauls out his iPad.
yeah, no. He's flipping through his little notepad
he's
of all these
flipping
stuff
through
that
his
he's
notepad.
run through.
Swipe.
Montgomery.
Yes.
And I don't mean the invisible rat. I mean,
The farm, Montgomery's farm.
yes,
He found it in the mine, right?
Yes.
it was in their mine. Yeah.
Well, he found a box. We found the stone in the mine,
Yes.
That's right.
but there was a box at Skeet's
Skeet's,
General
that's
Store
right,
that had
'cause-
similar symbols on it.
Yes. And when you opened up because that's
It was
Box
empty.
is empty.
That's
yeah.
right.
God, why
There
aren't
was
my
a
notes
housing
better?
for that stone. I remember.
No,
that.
it's the guy we were investigating.
Barnabas Jones,
No,
Corbett's.
Corbett's.
Walter Corbett Farmstead.
Does the name Walter Corbett ring a bell?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you're doing research and stuff, I know the name Corbett came up in some texts and stuff I've read.
Mm-hmm. How about Michael Thomas?
Michael Thomas.
We think they may be the same person.
Oh, I mean that happens. You know, people do something really bad. And then
Yeah,
they
no,
try-
exactly. That's exactly
Maybe
my
it could
thoughts.
be an alias. Michael Thomas doesn't seem to resonate with him. You can tell he's just sort of like, there's
In the past 20 years, do you have any records of any? And you know what? They may have nothing to do with the New England Center of Antiquities, but do you have any? Mr. Black said something about a chapter of your agency existing in Egypt.
Oh, yeah, of course. We have chapters everywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
But
not
we're talking about an Egyptian stone ending up in Swill's Gullet, and there's a couple connections of things that we're chasing. Do you have any records of any agents that you have sent and or received from your Egypt division in the past 20 years?
Oh, sent or received items or stuff like that? you mean?
Items or personnel? I'm looking more towards personnel.
Well,
Are you thinking this was an inside job? or-
I'm wondering if I'm wondering, for full transparency's sake, if Walter Corbett and or Michael Thomas, either in those aliases or in another alias, possibly was a part of the division in Egypt, or at least was involved in some way, came back and brought the rock with him, because at some point he spends time in Boston here with this stone that is from Egypt, somehow makes it to Swill's Gullet, where Barnabas Jones, a detective from the center, is sent to investigate. We're sent to follow up. And we're still chasing down this man whom we have no exact clues as to their whereabouts, but they were heavily steeped into what was going on at Swill's Gullet. I'm wondering, and then soon after we come back with this stone, the Boston Division is attacked by another man that was supposed to be accompanying Barnabas Jones. That's that young boy, Heinrich.
Oh.
He was accompanying Barnabas Jones, and he has now been chasing us and attacked the center while we were in it, investigating what occurred with you with these scarabs.
Might hold weight.
So I'm wondering if you do have records of any of your associates that travel to and from the Boston and Egypt divisions within the past 20 years. I think we may want to take a look at that.
I will definitely take a look at that. I will definitely look into it when I get a hold of Mr. Black and get everything squared away in that regards.
Right.
I mean, I don't have him with me. I mean,
No, I don't mean with
but
you.
yeah, no, that's something.
Do the records
that's
exist? Is what I'm curious.
Very good, Amos. I mean, if it had some mystical thing, I'd probably figure it out. But man, humans are shit.
I'm sorry, what?
Nah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
It's just an expression.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
We're garbage people.
no, you're fine.
Well,
No,
anyway,
he seems to be getting a bit more. Seems chipper. Just it's not as
less pale, less cold.
no. He's
Okay.
still super pale and super cold. Super cold.
How do we perceive from here now? With this
Oh well,
information?
Simon sort of puts up his hand in a weird, awkward way.
And I'm,
you
just
know,
gonna,
like a
and
kid.
I'm gonna point at it and be like, yes.
Yeah. So, if I just have, I'll just need a couple of minutes, and I'll pinpoint Alistair's location, and then if you want to go get him, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Do you
Well, it might
need,
take me a bit. I shouldn't say a couple of minutes. It's going to take me a bit.
Do you need something like food or anything to recharge?
Oh, no, you don't.
Clothes?
Well, he looks down. He's just like, yeah, maybe clothes. Yeah, no, food'll be the death of you. No, that's not even worth your time.
Okay. I got 2 more questions for you, and then
You
I'll
had 2 more
take-
questions 5 questions ago.
I know, but since as this questioning continues, more questions pop up. I got 2 for you. So you said you recognized that scarabs were who was brought to.
Yeah, that's what I call them. It's like a slang term.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Do they have any symbols or visual representations of that cult in particular that could have attacked the center?
what, the scarabs?
Or did you see any symbol
Or if I
were the
showed you a
cultists
symbol.
dressed in
Oh.
a particular way that
If I showed you a
Cultists using
symbol.
big black robe. Oh, if you showed me, yeah, well, actually, yeah, that might help. If you actually have a visual representation of
Yeah,
something,
it's-
that might help me.
I
Okay.
pull out I had the Albert Gall's journal with that symbol on it because it had a particular
And I've
symbol
got
on it.
photos of all the symbols from the church.
Did we
What symbol was on the?
No,
I just-
that's why I'm thinking we need to go get those developed so Simon can pinpoint them. They might be one and the same cult. And the reason why I'm asking that is, does the name Silver Twilight Lodge mean anything to you?
That's that. Oh, what's that? Gentleman's Club or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, me and Alistair had just started an investigation into the Silver Twilight Lodge. Maybe we got too close to something.
I've got a strong hunch that he might actually be there.
Oh. Well, we'll know soon enough.
Well, while you get all set up, I might go develop these photos so I can show you all the evidence that we had from... Because we were chasing down a tome right before the center was attacked. We went to the Church of Contemplation. I've got a bunch of photos of all of this weird stuff and symbols that they had around the area. So I'd like to show them to you and see if they ring any bells as to maybe why or if they were the group that attacked you.
Oh, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Well, in the interim, I pull out my notebook and I have in my note. I'm trying to find. I had a note somewhere about the symbol that was on Albert Gall's journal, but I did not jot that down in my real life notes.
Was it,
But
was it the...
I draw. So I do. There's a symbol of what looks like an eye in a triangle.
Yeah,
And that was the one that was on the chapel.
I got a picture of that one.
Was that the? Yeah, I need to go through my stuff here too.
There's
now I
also-
feel like I'm not prepared.
There was
Sorry, I'm
also
asking
a
all the
symbol
crazy
on the
questions.
cellar as well.
I got a picture of that one.
Circle with squiggly
With
lines.
squiggly lines and two squares.
I
two
have
boxes.
a sketch of that one as well. And then I have a note that has a symbol on his journal, and then I found a book by Edgar Allan Poe with a similar symbol on it. But I don't have what the symbol on his journal was.
Okay, so if you just hand over the journal, he's just sort of looking at the
Yeah.
symbol on it, and he just seems to be a little bit. Could mean a lot of things. These cults go for weird symbols, stuff like that. Always some weird thing. You said Albert who?
Albert Gohl.
Who's that?
Yeah, okay.
That answers that question.
He's someone from my history that is involved with.
Crazy son of a bitch.
He's a serial. Well, I don't know. Would serial killer be a term back in 1923?
It can
It is
be.
now.
Okay, well, he's a serial.
Guess who
killer.
coined it? I get that.
He kills a
FBI
series
just
of
doesn't
people.
catch
That's
on
right.
until later. He's a very disturbed person.
Just putting it like
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them out there. Yeah.
To the point where he's nailed bodies to a wall like it was wallpaper.
Oh.
I got
That wouldn't
photos.
work at all, though. I mean, the smell alone.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. I got photos of that too.
And he eats, like, he removes eyes and eats the cheeks of his victims. Like, he's.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, humans by far are the worst. No, I mean, some of the stuff I've seen, but then, I mean, somebody will go do something like that, and it's like, oh.
It's messed up.
But the point, though, if you don't immediately recognize these symbols, that's fine. We will definitely be sure to continue investigating the Silver Twilight Lodge, and if they would come up in your investigations as well, then that's further incriminations against them that we should follow up. But I do think our first priority should be getting Alistair back.
Do you have any, in your investigations of the Silver Twilight Lodge, like, what did you gather? Like, blueprints, entrances?
Oh, no, we only just started trying to infiltrate the lodge itself.
I wonder if it would be worthwhile to see if we can find anything like a blueprint or whatever. Is it a fairly new building? Do you know?
It is. It just seems like it appeared overnight, which is what drew me and Alistair to it. I mean, nobody really remembers construction. We just know
Maybe
there's this
the-
big foreboding structure. It's like a big 3-story castle house. I don't know how else to put it.
Maybe.
Gothic revival style, you know, with the peaks and, you know, that's been so done. Yeah. But I only need a couple hours, and then I'll know where Alistair is, or the general location. And if you're, it very quite possibly, like Amos said, be at the Silver Twilight Lodge.
Well, then
So,
while you're doing
yeah.
that, let's get those photos developed.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we can start prepping to infiltrate a lodge.
And rescue.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get my gun.
I'm going to grab mine and my coat, camera, all that good stuff.
So Simon sort of stands up now, because he was just with his legs over the table, and he sort of stands up and he's like, oh, man. It's like just a bad hangover.
I'll sleep for 2 weeks.
I suppose I needed it.
As he's getting up, I kind of like, I offer to grab his arm and his elbow there.
Yeah, you don't really find him cold.
That was what I was going to
You
ask.
both seem to be... You don't really seem that he's cold. Like, it doesn't really feel like he's cold to you. He just looks over and he's like, yeah, when we get all this straightened away, me and you should sit down for a chat. Like an actual proper about... No side questions, but sit down and a chat, and I'll
Talk about
I'll lay
what's
out...
going on
Yeah,
here.
talk about what's going on. Because I'm assuming the stone in your hand, like I looked at before, was a Sankara stone, and then when we became soul-bound, it disappeared and created a mark,
Yeah,
right?
whatever that is.
Yeah. So, I mean, me and you are probably more akin to, like, me and Alistair now. You know, we're just connected.
All right.
So there's some things I could show you how to, like, how do I put it?
Not lose my mind and go in after a giant pile of rotten meat.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, man, that's nothing. No, I mean the type of thing about how because we're connected, like knowing we're working closely together and knowing. I don't know how to put this to you. I'll save it for the conversation.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll figure that out soon.
Do you need to go to a bedroom, or do you want to go to a library to figure out how
Oh,
to...
yes, actually. I mean, this is the first time he has seemed excited. He's like, yeah, Aloysius Goodyear's library. By all means. So he sort of hops up and he has the blanket over him and he just starts walking toward the stairs.
Wow. How long do you need to do your wear?
It'll be a few hours.
Okay, perfect.
Althea, is there any men's clothing that we can give to Alistair? Because I'm sure he's not very dignified for him to... I mean, Simon. Sorry, Simon. It's pretty sure
Alistair on the brain, Agatha?
You know it.
Yeah.
I make inappropriate and obscene gestures with my hands behind her.
But I'm pretty sure it's not very dignified for Simon to be walking around in just a blanket.
Yeah, he's like in a blanket and like underwear.
Yeah, I'm thinking we
Right?
need clothes for him.
I can find him something for sure. Yeah.
And then Cadbury says, "Ma'am, I can take care of that for you and just find some clothes for him."
It's all right. I'll go upstairs.
Simon's already walking up the stairs.
I'll find something upstairs and bring it to him in the library. It's fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Call. Our next episode will air Tuesday, April 27th. In the meantime, Tuesday, April 14th is the next episode of Spacers, our Starfinder actual playcast. The game system used today was the Call of Cthulhu 7th edition by Chaos Team. Music, sound effects, and ambient tracks licensed through Triune Films, Video Copilot, and Sirenscape. You can find all of Twisted Gears Studios' podcasts on YouTube, Google Play, Apple Music, and Spotify. Please follow and like Twisted Gear Studios on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Twisted Gear. Your players this evening were Jessica Coles, Lindsay Zelansky, Zach Barrett, and Elizabeth Wells. Your audio operator tonight was Rob Hickey, and your GM or keeper this evening was Derek Snow. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.